Right, Sam, how are you doing?
Yeah, rubbish, André. How are you doing?
Oh my God, that was a throw up, isn't it? That just threw me off straight away. Anyway, I'm great.
It just got boring just saying like, yeah, I'm great. I mean, I'm actually pretty good. But yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Again, we have a lovely guest with us today.
We do, absolutely, yes.
Julia, how are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you.
So Julia, tell us a little bit about yourself, about the business. How did you start and how did you get here?
Absolutely. So I'm Julia Scoville from Redline Business Coaching. I'm a business coach. I specialize in exit-ready strategies. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? It means I help business owners to systemize their business, scale, and make it sell-ready. So that's my speciality. This is what I do. And yeah, absolutely love it.
Fantastic. So how did you get into the whole Redline business coaching? What was the journey that got you there?
The journey was quite long and painful, that's for sure.
Oh, we like long and painful.
Yes. I guess it's started with corporate career to start with. So I used to work for big banks, RBS, Barclays, Marks and Spencers in learning and development. So I was corporate trainer, work alongside heads off, seeing how large operations do scale, how they manage thousands of people towards one common goal. How do they get them motivated? How do they get blood, sweat and tears out of them? We all know corporates, you know, they're quite brutal, right? But yet somehow people still loving it and still working it and do give their blood, sweat and tears to it. Mm-hmm. And then down the line, absolutely loved my job, loved what I was doing. I had company car, laptop, nice smart suit, was young.
You're still young. You're still young.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Yeah. There you go.
Just for the records, please.
Right, I've done my good deed for the day.
Yes. Big brownie points. Corporate career and children somehow don't gel well together, right? As we know. So I was working for this company, big corporate company, and it just was absolutely a nightmare. I had to commute to London. I have to wake up really early. My son at the time was doing full-time nursery. I couldn't even collect him from nursery myself. I have to hire a nanny who will take him home, cook him dinner. I literally just was coming to put him to bed. And I thought, this is not on, on his second birthday, I remember this really, really vividly. I was sitting at my desk and I sent him to nursery with caterpillar cake. And then I thought, I wonder whether they're going to put candle on that cake for him or not. And then I thought, hold on a second, health and safety issues, right, at nursery. And so many children of 2 years old, candles, come on, Julia, what are you thinking? Less likely.
Oh, I love how your mind works. Yes.
And then I thought, he's not going to have that candle blowing experience on his second birthday, right? This is like sad. And his mum is sitting at work, not even there. And I thought, this is not on. Whenever he's going to be 16 years old and he's not behaving or he's not being the type of human being as I want him to be, it's only me to blame for. And I think that moment really shaped me to quit corporate and push me to start my own business, because I only seen that's the only way out, where you can balance and juggle. So I've started my own business. I started my own business in property, which has been successful, been running for over 10 years. And throughout that business, I built and sold letting agency successfully, which then gave me, I guess, experience, knowledge and idea to go and help other business owners to do the same. So I've combined everything, my corporate career, all the systemization on a larger scale than my own experience, unique experience of running my own business, into my 7-step growth system and my method, which is called Build to Exit, where I help other business owners to do the same. Because from day one, when I had my business, so my property business, it was HMOs, investing into HMOs. When we were refurbing HMOs, we did it to really high standard. And when we start to think, who is going to manage them? I couldn't trust anyone on the high street to do it properly. I thought, I know, I've got an idea. I'm going to open up my own letting agency, right, as you do. And that was business number 3, operating business number 3. But yeah, so that business wasn't passion business. I knew that business will be for sale, because it wasn't a business that, I absolutely admire. I've never been a letting agent in my life, never aspired to be one. and that being one. So from day one, I was building that business to be exit ready, which means even though it was me, I was writing out the mission statement, the vision. I was writing out all the processes. When I started recruiting people, a team, it was really easy for me. I started to train them as well. And it's all happened when my business was elevating right up, like growing massively. I looked at pregnancy test, and it's told me the good news and the bad news at the same time.
If Julia's child is watching this, she loves you, really. It's fine.
Yes, please, Sam. Yes, just for records. Yes, I love all of them. But actually, it's great because children really push me to think outside of the box. Being a parent with very limited time and, limited resources, it's really made me think traditional way of running business, just not going to cut it. I really have to think something different here, outside of the box, which I did. So I had really tight deadline of 9 months. Unfortunately, I couldn't renegotiate with anyone or push it down the line. It was so...
As hard as you tried.
Yes, it was so evident it's going to happen. So I worked really, really hard to systemize my business in 9 months, and I did it. When I gave birth, my team was operating in Manor Royal in Crawley. I had office there, and I wouldn't see them months at a time. But I knew everything they did was down to the T. They followed my processes, they followed my system. My business was operating without me to the high level. And more than anything, they absolutely loved it. Because they felt being in charge, they felt like they're giving something, they're developing, they had that autonomy, freedom. And time came to sell that business, which I did successfully about 3 years ago. And that's when it gave me time, time to think, what do I really want to do? This is my time. Wake me up 2:00 in the morning. I can talk, no preparation. I love it. And whether I'm going to get paid or not, another matter. But, this is my true passion. And I thought it's definitely coaching, business, maybe even property. So I thought, let's do that. And that's how Red Lion Business Coaching appeared. Sorry, it's a long story, right?
It makes it all make sense, though. There's a really helpful context there that paints a beautiful picture as to where you actually came to how you are now, which is fantastic.
Plus, we are definitely missing a few prior bits to you starting that business, because when Sam said, I spoke to Julia and she's coming to have a podcast with us. And I said, I know Julia from somewhere. I've heard so much about you. And it wasn't until a couple of days ago when I was going through the website to just get a refresh. I was like, oh no, I do. Like I've read your story before. And obviously you haven't told us that story. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that know the background story of you and how you got here. But enlighten us a bit, because I think that truly shows who you are as a person and how you got here.
You want me to rewind even further?
Let's rewind a couple of years, a few years.
I got the hint. Okay, so obviously I've got an accent. So my accent is coming from Belarus. So Belarus is between Poland and Russia. And living in Belarus, I grew up during communist time. So it was communist country, part of USSR, where making money actually was forbidden by the government, right? You will go to prison. If you open up your own business or, you sell something, you will get punished. So the concept of ownership, making money, businessship, was relatively new idea. And then when opportunity came to come over to UK, which I did at very early age, at age 20, I literally just had £100 in my pocket, just one bag, and the rest is the history, as they say, right? But lots of determination, big goals, big dreams. And I really seen an opportunity here in UK that if you really want to achieve something, you can really do it, because there is so much platform out here and people really perceptive to your skill set. They don't necessarily look into your background. If you can do the job well, and if you can demonstrate that you're adding value and you've got great ideas and you're passionate and you apply yourself, that's get recognized. And I guess that's how I actually built my corporate career. I was really, really driven in that world. And against the odds in that corporate career, I've managed to, progress through the ranks quite quickly and get myself into level of corporate trainer. Of course, self-doubts were in the moment as well. I was thinking, I remember at some point when I had induction, when I started with ABS, I was like, oh my God, I love this. And the reason why I actually went into banking in the first place, and you talk about my character, is I like to develop my weaknesses. So math never has been great at school. I thought, I know, I'll get a job with a bank and I'm going to improve my math. So I did. And we had 2 weeks of induction. It was like big corporate recruitment for new mortgage arm. And I love induction so much. I thought, oh my God, this is just amazing. Like no such a thing as a stupid question. It's so, accepting. I thought, I know, I'm going to become a trainer. I want to become a trainer. But then obviously self-dialogue kicks in. Come on, Julia, don't be silly. You're foreign, you've got accent, who you are. You're going to train English people in a bank. Come on, get over yourself. Luckily, I had a really great manager who gave me inspiration and gave me that belief. And I've applied myself, went on to do some courses, got myself into degree. But, other thing actually, in this story, I want to share something. I talked about my mantras earlier. I'm a true believer that you create your own opportunities, right? If there are none, you just have to create one. And I'm gonna share example. I don't know if you ever done that in your lives, for example. Have you ever done something like that?
I mean, we probably all have, but necessarily we may not necessarily have had those reflections at the time. But I know I get the concept of what you're talking about.
I think, to be fair, I think in a moment, it's difficult to see it as like that until I feel like for me, there's definitely been moments where I was going through life not having an idea of what was going to do or what I was going to do and how I was going to go on about that. And it isn't until later on in life where you look back and it's actually like, oh, I was in that position, and I thought I was doing nothing. And then actually I ended up trying this and trying that and creating those opportunities that initially I thought were impossible to achieve. And I suppose that's what you're kind of referring to.
It's interesting what you said. It's I can straight away to my head comes quote from Steve Jobs. You can only connect dots looking backwards. Mm-hmm. And you just never know, right? So every single step in your life will connect to something greater. But for me, creating your own opportunities, so I'm going to share my example. And this is when I realized, oh my God, this is how it works. So I wanted to become a trainer. At the time, in the bank, I used to work in a department called write-off and closures. So the bank is writing off the debt, doesn't want to know anything about the customer. It's past the relationship. It's literally just typing away on the computer, writing off, typing the numbers. No phone communication, no email, no letters, nothing. It was so boring. Definitely not for me. So one of the competencies, so one of the key component of being a trainer is communication skill, right? I didn't talk to anyone. I just stared at that screen, numbers. And I thought, how the heck I'm going to develop my communication skill in this role? I don't even talk on the phone to anyone. Because at the time I wanted to improve my corporate English, so I was spending lots of time reading company intranet. And I've learned, actually, bank does offer a lot of employee benefits like free eye care, childcare vouchers, all those kind of things. So I start saying this to my colleagues. How did you know, by the way, bank does this and that? My manager overheard me at that time, and it's happened to be the bank was conducting annual employee survey, when they ask you how satisfied are you with the bank and, blah, blah, blah. So my manager spotted an opportunity to remind everyone in the team how great the bank is and all those benefits, of course. So she said to me, Julia, would you mind actually pulling it together and do a small presentation on our team meeting? I was like, yeah, of course I'll do that. So I did that. And again, it happened to be during that presentation time, our area director attended our team meeting. And he goes to me with a light bulb moment, Julia, can you do the same, but to the rest of my 20 teams I've got to look after. I was like, yeah, of course I'll do that. So all of a sudden on my CV, I was able to put presented to so many people. And that's what I'm referring. And I get, for me, this was the light bulb moment. You can create your own opportunities even when you think there are none. And that relates to another mantra of mine, which was passed on by my mum, who is sadly not with us anymore, but she always taught us, and you will see this on my Facebook and WhatsApp, in any impossible situation, there are always 3 exits. So in any impossible situations, there are always 3 exits. And I guess I've trained my mind to think like that all the time. I'm not taking no for answer. I always think about what else, what other exit? There must be something. And creativity is the biggest faculty we possess and so underutilized, especially as we're becoming adults. So tapping into that zone can give you so much ideas. When you feel stuck, you feel the door shut down, you feel like you're hitting your head against the brick wall. There is no other way, you can't even think of other ways. There are always 3 options, always. Just think.
That's so interesting. I feel like you're absolutely right, and I think it's so. We just come to this position in life, especially when we become adults, like you said, where we just accept things for what they are. It's just like, oh yeah, that's the way it is. When now that I've said that, it's actually no, it's never that's the way it is it? It's like we can always do something to make that work. And it's just, I think we just become very, very lazy with being creative. I think we kind of just shut ourselves in that box. It's like, no, this is it, but that's never it.
I mean, certain things like, if you have something you really believe in, if you have something that you're very much working towards and are passionate about, you will find a way. I mean, and there's loads of examples. Again, I'm sure, both of us can think of loads. I've got many in my mind where, people actively said the exact words were, that's impossible. You can't do that. It's never going to happen. It's never going to work. It's like, no, but I know it will. I know in my head it will. I can't necessarily put that in a tangible thing for you right now, but I know that it will. I'm so certain that it will happen. And yes, you then make your destiny in that respect, don't you? You're working towards that vision and that goal, and whatever you need to do to get there, because you've got that creative nous to want to do it and you're fiercely passionate about it, you'll find the ways that you won't even necessarily, even like you're saying, André, at the time, you won't at the time consciously be aware that you're doing it. You only connect the dots afterwards. But that's the power of us as people and business owners. It doesn't even have to be business owners. Clients that I work with, musicians, artists, performers, people who are just working towards something higher than where they are. They are just so determined, and that determination comes from a real fire within. And sometimes it comes from places that are less necessarily romantic, shall we say, but whatever it may be, we have that within us. And I think unlocking that, and it's brilliant to hear your story around how you unlocked those doors, how you had maybe that degree of insecurity around it, and it is just that, it's insecurity. But at the same time, some of those things would have been real. I'm sure you would have experienced people saying things to you or behaving in certain ways that you're thinking, well, there's only one reason why you're saying it like that, etc. But how you react to it and how you respond to it is down to your own sense of self. And hey, look, I'm bigger than this. I'm going for something bigger than this. I'm not going to sweat this small stuff. So it's a fantastic kind of philosophy to hear.
Absolutely. And it's I find it's inspiring, because one thing is, we had the privilege of not growing up in a communist country where, there was incentives for people to go out there, open their own businesses and start their own thing. So obviously you grow up, and this is in the back of your mind, even though you are not actively thinking about it, that's a possibility. But in your case, it's like, no, where you're from, that wasn't a possibility. So how do you even grow that in the back of your mind to then be like, no, this is what I'm going to be, and leave everything behind and think, I have zero experience with this kind of world, because you lived a completely opposite reality that we do, and then all of a sudden you are, you're doing that, you are living it, you are you overcome those barriers and you're now doing what you're doing, which is impressive. Really, really impressive.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think for me, from very young age, I envisaged myself living abroad. I just had that internal want, drive, whatever you call it. And I was seeking opportunities. So when the opportunity came, I just grabbed it and I didn't look back. Would I do it again? Looking back at it, I don't know, question mark. Maybe I was young and naive, just didn't know what I'm stepping into. But no, absolutely. For me, it was the best decision of my life. I always say that, moving over to another country. But also for me, what it's also meant, coming from communist country and having my mind wide up for, I guess, limited money beliefs, right? If you'll go into that territory, I have to work so much on myself, but in terms of my mindset about the money, number one. But number two is to learn different tools and vehicles of wealth creation, money creation, managing money, different, I guess, entity like trusts, having pensions, different type of pension, different type of investments, risk factors, all those kind of things that I never been exposed to. But I became really fascinated by, because for me, the concept and idea of generational wealth is something that didn't exist back home. It's literally just doesn't. And only now, I've lost my parents. I've lost both of my parents. So I inherited a flat from them. So that's I'm the first generation who is getting generational wealth in some shape or form. And it's very unknown still, and people don't know what to do with it. And, all the legal system is not there. So it's definitely something that I became passionate about and bring to my clients as well. It's one, having your own business. And this is what I preach as well, like turning your business into an asset. Don't run it just for the sake of it. Make it profitable, turn it into asset. You put blood, sweat and tears into it. It's so vital that you will benefit from it financially, and your family for that matter, because you're sacrificing your time, right, with your kids, with your wife, with your husband, your friends, whatever. So you might as well get compensation, and that compensation can last you, but also generations to come. So to me, that's my passion.
Hearing the words that you say and that passion is really authentic, and just that fire in which you say it. And just, you were saying earlier about how your Red Line business coaching is around kind of creating that exit strategy almost, or kind of getting your business in an exit ready state. And you just mentioned about the fact that, we're pouring our blood, sweat and tears into it, make it profitable. And in a sense, so there must be there's a gap there, right? So you're doing everything, you're pouring your heart and soul into it. It's something you're so passionate about, you want it to work, but maybe you're not necessarily making it as profitable as you want it to be, or you're not necessarily growing in the way that you want to be. So then let's talk about how you get somebody then from here to exit ready. What's the bread and butter of this?
Yeah, what's the secret, right?
What's the secret?
Yeah, what's the secret? Well, the secret actually is, if there is a secret, the secret is to actually create a business machine that can operate without you. That's the key. We need to extract you from the business, because let's say if I'm going to ask you a question, I'm going to send you on 5 weeks holidays from your business. What will happen to your business?
Ooh.
Right, I think you said it all here, right? If you went here, fantastic, thank you, Julia. That big sigh, come on, share with me.
Well, yeah, wow. But the thing is, we're sole traders, so that, which is a slightly different proposition to say some of the businesses that you might necessarily be working with. But yes, what would happen if I just completely abandoned it for 5 weeks, didn't look at any emails, nothing? Yikes! That's hard to think. That's hard to think, because I am the one man band that's doing it all. So if I'm not doing it, ain't nobody else going to do it. So,
but like you mentioned about being sole trader, that's very common, not just with sole traders. Small, medium-sized business owners facing exactly the same problem. They still take their laptops with them on holidays, right? They're still checking their phones. They're still saying, darling, I'm going to wake up first thing in the morning. I'm just going to check emails, then we can go on the beach. Or I just taking this phone call, just one, like you carry on, order something from the menu. I'm nearly there. It still happens.
So, I mean, I'm not married. Do people really say darling still? Is that a thing? I don't
Darling. I do say darling, especially if I've done something wrong.
Honey,
Sweetie,
I don't know.
So it's just, that just felt very 1950s there for a second. Yeah, okay.
Maybe I'm speaking to my my client profile, who usually in about 50s, 60s.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm thinking about exit strategy.
But it's interesting that we bring this up, and I'm going to bring something up that might be a bit controversial.
But
but
like controversial.
yeah, so obviously we are growing businesses, and we can't help to feel so attached to what we're creating. And we were talking before the camera started rolling. We were talking about feeling confident about, and you talked about having your team and how you let them be independent and they, you had full trust on them. But how do we go from trying to grow something for ourselves and it's our baby, because that's essentially what it is, isn't it? You're putting so much time, sweat and blood, like you said, into it, to then kind of remove ourselves from it. Because at the end of the day, just giving back some of that control, it's hard. I can't picture myself doing that, well, especially at this stage. But how do you navigate that?
Absolutely. That's a really great point to describe there, because that's where the biggest struggle of business owners with the team. They might have actually quite few people in the team. They can have a team of 10, even 15 people. But to have that trust, to blindly to turn away for 5 weeks to go and then have that trust in them that they will be running your business, not only just running, but actually growing it and multiplying the income, the customers, it's very hard. And the reason why it's hard, it's because you still integrate it into the business so much, which means people still come to you for decisions. You're the only one in the office who can say yay or nay, the final one. People come to you to problem solve. You're the one who is still covering holidays and sickness. God forbid you go off sick yourself, right? That's the biggest fears you're probably facing right now. But the kind of the system or the way how to do it is, I use this analogy. So when you're starting your own business, and you probably can relate to this, guys, when you're starting your own business, you want customers, right? That's the blood of the business. No customers, no income. So
that's where I'm going wrong.
You're just having nice cup of teas and coffees,
I was going to
right?
take some notes, Julia. Sorry. Yes.
So you're focusing so much on winning the clients, winning the business, winning, sales, and then all of a sudden it's flooding towards you. You can't do it all by yourself. So you start getting more people, right? You start to recruit to help you, to enable, to service those customers. So you're developing, I call it muscle to hustle. You're doing all that, and it's become stronger and stronger. And, all of a sudden you've got this team to help you to serve all those customers. And all of a sudden you've got customers to look after. You also have got team to look after, and it all becomes on your shoulders. And it's so heavy, it's so overwhelming, and you really want to have more. You want to grow more and scale, but you think it's already too much. How do I do this? This is just overwhelming. I'm going to crack at any point. And what I usually say, your focus is external, right? You're looking at the customers. What you need to do at this point is to turn around and look at your team and give that attention to the team and start developing that muscle. So you're becoming a leader instead of having, like a business owner who's operating, managing everything. You becoming a leader, and you start to inspire and develop your team, your people. You're creating systems in place. You get the best out of them because they're your greatest possession, the most expensive possession in your business as well. And here I also say to my clients that when you start having a team and you're creating job description and all different points that you want them to do, you're missing out massively if that's all what you're asking them to do. Because the greatest power or tool that you possess through this team, do you know what that is? Not the experience or not the skill.
What's the mindset? It's how they fit. It's how they are motivated. Isn't the right word. It's how they are self-inspired and inspire others around them to work towards your vision. And if you can get that vision right and make people feel that they are owning that, then people with the right mindset towards that will basically exponentially grow what you've got around you. Because they will come up with the answers, they'll come up with the ideas. They're the ones who are going to work on. I mean, there's a fascinating piece of work by Patrick Lencioni who talks about there's 5 dysfunctions of a team, and it's the pyramid where actually you've got to get the base right, and that's the first dysfunction happens when you have absence of trust, and then functional conflicts or dysfunctional conflicts, recognizing achievements, and all of these things are about building people's minds to say, even if I'm not the business owner, I may be a member of staff or whoever, I feel as much ownership. I feel that if I make a decision, the boss is going to have my back. It's not going to be a case of, I need to check it. I need to check everything with them because I understand the vision and that's something I'm working towards.
Absolutely.
That is what we just don't focus on very much.
Absolutely. You're spot on there. Samir. But how do you get them to feel all that motivation, right? How do you make them feel inspired? And give themselves all to your company and share the beliefs and share the mission, the vision that you're having for your business.
A lot of that would be how you articulate it to them. A lot of it will be around leading your team with the own example of how you would do it. Now, it's not necessarily to be dictatorial. I mean, that's completely the opposite, really, if you're going to do that. But if you live the thing and breathe the thing that you are doing and show people that actually I'm very clear where I'm going towards with this, I want everyone along with me for this journey, and you're all essential parts to this. And it's not going to happen, or it won't happen the same way without you because of your mindsets. Because of, we said that, skill set is not necessarily the key parts of it, but we bring that into it. And we understand that people's skills can be trained, right? People can always be upskilled, but identifying people who have the right mindset and the inspiration to do it, if you have mechanisms by which to do that, then that kind of writes itself. I mean, it's hard work still, but that journey starts to write itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, you spot on there. The with people piece, I usually say there are 3 elements that you assess your team by, or anyone who you're recruiting, basically any person that comes to your business. It's by skills, knowledge, and attitude. So skills, knowledge, exactly what you said, you can train, you can develop. Attitude, the mindset, it's something that you can't affect. It comes from within of individual, and if that is not right, you won't be able to fix it.
And because it's a book by Simon Sinek where he talks about the fact that we get into this false mantra of how do we motivate people? How do we motivate our teams? You can't. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as motivating someone to do anything. They're either inspired to do it, either from within or from without, but it's inspiration that makes it happen. And if someone isn't in that set to do that, then that's not going to happen.
Absolutely. So, when I said the biggest asset within your team, it's not the skill set or experience or knowledge, it's actually their brain. That's the biggest tool we possess as human beings, right? And you're coming from medical profession. The amount of activities, the power that get measured from our brain is insane, right? And so many people compare to the power of iPhones and computers and whatever. So recognizing that and utilizing that to your advantage in your business, it's huge. And with that comes the understanding and respect of your team and your members as a human beings. When we feel encouraged, when we feel motivated, when we feel that we're using all our brain faculties, that's when we feel really engaged and we really want to give back. And if you can master that as a business leader, your business will be on fire. Your business will be like, one of those leading businesses out there with innovation, creative ideas. You'll be growing at the speed rate that nobody else does. And to me, recognizing that also comes from corporate career, being in learning and development department, and we all know this, if you work in the corporate career, you probably can relate to this. There are lots of systems and tools, which is fantastic, but sometimes they get used against you, right? And you're getting pushed into the box, which I absolutely just hated it. And I've been used as a tool to manage people out of the company. So let's say if someone on performance improvement plan, obviously as a company you need to demonstrate that you've done everything possible with that individual to provide them support. So Julia, can you go and talk to this person and, do something, some training or coaching, so we can just tick the box. And to me, that's, I just, honestly, it was going against my personal values and my integrity. Yeah, of course. It's a human being we're talking here about. So one of the experiences I had when it was a guy in a bank who moved career into sales department, but sales is not his forte at all. He's not salesman at all. As a result, his figures obviously weren't up to scratch and so on. He was family man. He just recently had a baby and he was facing job loss. So, and to me, that was like devastation. And also he felt so down because he felt so bad about himself. Like, I'm not delivering enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not a good employer. In his previous role, he was the top. And that's how he managed to, improve his career. So seeing that, it really made me feel devastated in my heart. And I knew, this role, it doesn't mean that he's bad. It just means this role doesn't suit him. He's excellent at customer service, looking after customers, giving them all attention, care, listening. That's his forte, not the sales. He just been at the wrong kind of position. Yeah. So to me, recognizing that within your business and valuing people for who they are and bring the best out of them, that's when it's truly the magic happens in building the A-type team, the business that can operate to its top-notch, level. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And you have a very bespoke way of doing this. You have a 7-step model by which you get businesses from that point A to point B. Can you talk us through that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So my 7 steps, so my build to exit methods has 7 steps growth plan, which I'm going to show on camera just here. You can find it on my website. And it's very systematic, very prescribed, because exactly what the conversation we had beforehand. As a business owner, there are so many moving parts in your business, and everything needs your attention, and everything is urgent, and everything is now, and where do you start? And you start this, and you don't finish, and then you get your attention to something else, and it just becomes big mess, right? So my 7 steps allows you to build. So you're getting into building mode. You're building this business machine that by the end of it, the end result, number 1, you extract yourself from it because it can operate without you. Number 2, it produces predictable income. And when I talk about turning your business into an asset, this is what I do. I help business owners to turn the business into an asset within 24 months.
Whoa. I have some questions.
Okay.
That's impressive. That's a big claim to make. Tell us about the 7-step process.
The 7 steps and the asset. I'm gonna use a bit of analogy here, right? So your business, I know you're sole entrepreneurs. Let's imagine you've got teams and you grew a bit, right, and you feel like I think I want to retire, I want to sell. You're at that stage when you call your other half darling by now.
I first need to get another half, okay. Julia. I'm still waiting on
that. Sorry, my 7 steps is
no, this is all just lost on me. I'm just
hey, you're probably not missing out.
The analogy's failed right there and then. But yes, anyway, yeah, carry on.
So let's say you're thinking about selling your business, right? And you're making money in your business, so you're actually having nice lifestyle. You're able to afford to go on holidays. You've got nice car, nice house. It pays you well. It's lovely. You're well known, maybe in the marketplace. You've got good reputation. You've got customers coming in, and you think my business is great. I'm gonna get top dollar for this. But would you? This is the biggest mistake, and this is again my urgency message to all business owners who are at the stage when they do have team and they manage to scale a bit and the building, is to look into your business right now and assess how exit ready you are, which I do actually, by the way. If anyone wants to do that, I do that free of charge. And I've got an assessment form that called How Exit Ready You Are. You can complete and you can judge yourself.
I mean, I'd be pretty afraid to do this. I sense that Julia would just be like, Sam, you should just exit, mate. Just go. Just leave. Just get out. Just go.
And so it's all going well, right, for you. And you're thinking, yes, I want to sell. And you found a buyer. Lovely, Julia. I'm very interested. And you think, you know what? I think I worked so hard and my business probably worth about £1 million. Wouldn't it be nice to sell it for £1 million?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why not? So I'm coming to your business and I say, yeah, fantastic, I'm buying your business. Okay, Julia, just to let you know, on Mondays, I'm answering all the customer inquiries. On Fridays, I'm doing invoicing. On Wednesdays, I do the payroll. And by the way, if someone is off sick, you have to step in. What do you think I'll be doing with £1 million?
Yes.
Sorry, not interested.
I'm ultimately buying myself a very, very, very expensive job.
Yeah.
Which is insane,
That's
right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which so many business owners find themselves in that position, and it's well too late. And I want to avoid that. I want them to feel confident that whatever they're creating, they put blood, sweat, and tears into, it's true asset. It can be sellable, it can be attractive, it can be desirable for someone. And again, let's say, when you sell your business, what do you think you sell? What is the most valuable thing in your business?
Clients.
Clients, yes, they
The
definitely.
team. If you've got a team, obviously. And I suppose that's it, really. Clients and team.
Whatever problem it is you're solving for your clients, I guess, is a commodity in itself.
None of that.
Damn it, Andrew, we suck.
We do. What are we doing again?
And the reason why you said clients, yes, clients can be valuable asset, but they love you, they don't love me. I'll come to your business. Who is Julia? She's not Sam, She doesn't possess whatever the magic that he has, or whatever. You said team. Again, I'm a different leader. I've got different style. Would they respond to me? I've got different motivation techniques. So what do you think that is? What will I pay £1 million for if I'll come and buy a business?
Oh, the vision, the potential. Maybe not, because then you'll have your own vision behind it. But yeah,
the scalability, how you are able to improve it further and grow it further, and I suppose the products you sell or the services you sell, if you believe in that vision as well,
or how it might make your own life a bit easier somehow, or your own lifestyle a bit easier.
Possibly you walking around something. I'll put you out of your misery. And this is what I really want business owners to focus on and ask themselves, if you are right now running your own business and you're to the point where you've got team, you've got number of people working for you, ask yourself what I'm actually selling, what someone will come and buy me for, what is the valuable things I do possess in my business that they will be happy to pay me £1 million for. And as I said, it's not a team, it's not even your customers, it's predictable income. I'm buying sausage factory. I'm investing my money. When someone is coming to buy your business at £1 million plus, it's certainly the type of people who don't want a job. They want investment. They want returns. So for me, turning your business into an asset that can be so attractive to someone out there, to the market, that's what my speciality, that's what I'm passionate about. And do it sooner rather than later. That's another, I guess, sense of urgency in my message. I want to translate that to the business owners, because having a business that turned into an asset is like insurance policy, because you don't know what's around the corner in your life, right? It could be everything fine with you, but your wife, like I literally had scenarios where A guy was running business for 10 years successfully, but wife got cancer, had 2 years to live. He was so engaged in the business, he had to just shut it down because, he wanted to spend those years with her. Because the business wasn't systemized, he sold it for £10,000. To me, it's a crime. You put blood, sweat, and tears. How much time did you sacrifice with your wife until that point just to exit with £10,000? I had another story when a business owner was running her own business for 25 years, quite mature, and the business seen her through divorce, tough times. So she managed to raise her children based on her income. She had a lovely lifestyle, had nice cars put through the company accounts. And she thought, finally, this is time to sell. I've got something. She had a team as well. She was well established. Everyone knew her name. So a client of mine approached me to seek out to buy that business because they wanted to scale. And, they just wanted my advice. And when I looked into it, it was really sad to me because I had to deliver really bad news to that business owner. There was nothing to sell. She wanted 60,000 for it, but there was literally nothing to sell, not even clients, because clients were domestic clients. It was like laundrette business. Again, as I said, they love her, not me, right? Where's guarantee? And my client was better off investing those £60,000 into brand new machinery, new premises, new logo, new brand, whatever, spending money on marketing, securing her clients, rather than buying something where there is no guarantee and it's huge risk. So, that was very devastating for me to deliver that news to that business owner. Because again, she put blood, sweat and tears into that. She also employed people. And those people been with her for over 10 years, and they, live and raise their families based on their income. So she couldn't even dare to just shut it down because she had duty of care to her, employees. So what I said to my client, I said, look, you can babysit this business, and at some point, that business owner will be happy to give it to you for free. Just to carry on the legacy, to carry on with, providing jobs for her employees, serving the customers that she built, great relationship over 25 years. That's what happens. But until you hit that point, you wouldn't know. Like we're connecting the dots, only looking backwards. So I want to connect the dots for you now, not later. So, and this is what I do.
So then what is the ideal client that fits into that? What is there a specific industry or a specific type of business that then gravitates towards you for this?
Yes, so I work really, really well with service providers, so not manufacturers or e-commerce, because it's different kettle of fish, it's different approach to the business.
Sure.
So it could be anyone. So some of my clients, typical clients, estate agents, architectural firms, kitchen supplies, garden design, marketing companies. So anyone who is serving the customer industry that we can help, or I can help. And usually they are people who are quite ambitious. They manage to build a team, so they've got people working for them. They've been in business for probably about 7 years now. So they've got steady stream of income. They're really well established, but they're still the one who are picking up the pieces. They're still the one who are covering sickness, holidays. They're still the one who everyone wants piece of answer, advice, decision making. They're still being bottleneck in their operations. Everything still lays on their shoulders, and they just can't switch off.
I think that's so. Obviously, I've never seen that side of the story because I just never thought of that in that way. But it's so true because, we start a business because we want at some point to have a bit more freedom, either financial freedom or a bit more time for ourselves. But actually, after this conversation with you, I'm actually starting to realize that there's definitely a few steps that need to be taken to ensure that you can get to that position. Because if you just carry on running your business and you are the business, then you'll never get to that point. You'll always be working the late. You'll always, every single half an hour, like what we were talking about before, every single half an hour that you've got a spare, you can always invest doing something else. And if you are opening a business to say, hopefully one day, actually, this is great. I've got a little bit more time. I got a little bit more money. Then I think you've really opened my eyes to that prospect of, if that's the reality you want to achieve, then you really need to take those steps and focus on that. Because otherwise, if I remove myself, even if in a couple of years' time where there's 2 or 3 people working for me, if I don't give back and systemize it in a way, then it's just never going to happen. And it's that dream of like, oh, I want more time, I want more freedom. It's like, oh yeah, go on holiday, go away for 2 weeks, go away for 5 weeks, like you said. There's no way it would work.
And I just want to add a bit more bad news.
Oh god.
I'm sorry, I have to do it.
I think it's great bringing Julia onto this, really.
An attempt to close the business. Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna contact the
company's house.
Company's house. I'm done, guys.
I love what you're describing. Like starting from solo entrepreneur journey to growing and expanding, and this is where the blind spot comes. And I really want to articulate this so business owners will be aware of this. So you are recruiting people, you're scaling and you're expanding, you're becoming successful, and you think, I've got this business, I've got that time freedom, you think, or, the financial freedom. But what you find, many business owners at that stage created a monster that they can't tame anymore. And that monster is taming them. And they can't stop. Like my story with the laundrette business, she had the employees that she felt cared for. Mm-hmm. So once you start having people working for you and you think, I just had enough. I had that burnout. You feel, but little Charlie just had a child, or so-and-so's mom just went into care home. I can't stop, I've got obligation and duty of care.
Sure.
And customers. Yeah. So all of a sudden you find yourself in very vulnerable and lonely position as a business owner where you can't stop, but the monster needs to be served each day. Mm-hmm. And I don't want anyone to be in that position. And this is where the 7 steps, we're kind of untangled step by step. We're building your business in a way that you extract yourself. And there are a couple of mantras I install with my clients. Actually, you asked me how was my day today? And I said, I just onboarded new client, which I'm very excited about. And the first thing we do is allocating time in the diary to work on the business consistently. What's in your diary gets done, right? So I ask them, choose the best time, the best date in your diary throughout the week, even if it's 3 hours, even if it's 1 hour, when you work on the business, not in the business. That's the only way out of hamster wheel. Because if you don't allocate that time, if you don't commit to work on the business, you will be in one day, and that one day never happens. But you don't know what's around the corner. Mm. So having that time consistently in your diary and protect it like a hawk, commit yourself to that. That's number key. That's key number 1 to kind of. And then number 2, once you conquer that, the next mantra, and I shared this with you beforehand as well. Whatever lands on your desk, any task, activity, things to do, train your mind with this question: who can do it for me? Never ever do it yourself. You can't. You can't do everything in your business. Full stop. So who can do it for me? Maybe to start with, it will be your mom, your neighbor, your friend. You pay someone, you hire someone from Philippines. I don't know, like in any impossible situations, there are how many exits? Yeah. 3. So 3, you find them. So who can do it for me? Train your brain that kind of delegation, the first thing. So this is your kind of enablers to exit and transform from business operator to a business owner.
It's interesting that I've recently been through that where, you spend time growing the business to get to a point where you gain the clients so that you have the work so they can pay the bills, and that's the point. That's the whole point of it. And then you got to a point where it's like, well, yeah, I've got the clients and the work now, but I don't actually have the time to go and look for more clients. So it's about, and I think it comes down to that. It's like, okay, well, this bit, someone now needs to look after it. That bit needs to be by someone else, and I'll focus on this bit. But I think it comes down to just like we're going around in circles, but it's just that control, just giving a little back and just be like, actually, that's fine. This is my baby, but you can look after that. I trust you to just take that off of me. And I think it's so important, because otherwise you just keep on going. You get tangled on that spinning wheel, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, after this, I'm going to get my cameras to start responding to my emails. To be like,
why not?
You can do it, Nikon.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you paid enough that you should do.
But like, honestly, there is so much technology, automation, AI, whatever out there. Like, it can be done, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe one day they will be able to do it for you.
I bloody well hope not, Julia, because then really, what's the point of me?
You're going on holidays, remember?
You're enjoying life.
But it's really interesting what you said about those moving parts in your business. So my 7 steps, it's like I guess it's like a Lego set, right? I'm giving you a Lego set with 7 steps, and we're building, and they all click together. Step number 1, I call it start with the end in mind, right? If you don't know where you're heading, you're going to end up elsewhere. So famous Stephen Covey approach. So we establish your vision, like, why do you want this business? What it's for? What is beyond the business, actually? I ask that question. So we, Simon Sinek, we talk about Simon Sinek, your why, all those kind of things. So you've got crystal clear idea. Why do you want this business? What does it mean to you? What does it look like in 5-10 years time? Or maybe not even your business, but your life. And by the end of it, you will have not only wired up mindset, exactly where you're heading, but you appointed point A to point B. So it's your navigation, right? It's your map. Mm-hmm. Then it becomes much easier. Once we know where we're heading, it's much easier to follow the road. Once we've done that, step number 2, it's your strategic business compass. That's your mission, your vision, your values, your team culture. How do you set yourself apart from other competitors, from other people who do what you do? And I use analogy of coffee shops. There are so many coffee shops out there, right? They all sell exactly the same. The menu almost identical. The pricing even most identical. But somehow we're choosing one over another. Why is that? Right? It's for what they stand for, right? It's their values, the vision, the mission. So once it's crystal clear, not only your business becomes very crystal clear to your customers, but also to your team members, to your suppliers, to everyone else to use well, how you're different, how you position yourself different in the market. Then step number 3, it's your client acquisition mastery. We talk about the marketing, right? How do we do more? How do we attract them? How do now we communicate this message of us being different coffee shop? Why they should come to our coffee shop, not next door? And with that, we also establish your KPIs, key performance indicators, which, again, coming from corporate background, that's just such a hot topic, right? This is one of the top things that you get measured by. And I know quite a few people feel maybe against it and resentful, especially coming from corporate backgrounds. But it's your business pulse, right? If you don't know your numbers,
how can you improve? That's the thing.
So, and specifically, if you want to have that financial freedom, again, how would you know what that will look like? What do you need to hit? So we work backwards there. We do financial planning year 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then it translates down to today. What do I need to do today to hit those numbers in 5 years' time? So again, and you engage your team on that as well. So you not do it all by yourself. You get the team to understand those KPIs. And you start to think, who can do it for me? Not just you. And then we transfer to step number 4, which is team building activity, right? You're building your team for growth. And this is, when you said, how do I, like, if I'm sole trader, sole operator, I'm wearing so many hats, what do I delegate first? Do I employ someone? Do I pay someone? Where do I start? And this is where your organizational chart will come for, handy for. And I would certainly encourage you, even if it's just you and your business, to create your org chart. What that will look like, let's say in 3 years' time, right? Because at the moment you are directors and heads of how many departments?
All.
Yeah.
All the above.
Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah.
So you want to become crystal clear. What are they in your business? Financial department, marketing department, sales department, customer delivery department, director role. Actually, that's another thing I do with business owners, because they get tangled up, and especially when we're creating an asset, we're turning the business into an asset. It's for them to understand the difference between operator and owner. I'm asking them or set them a task to do to write a job description for director, but also for shareholder. And there is a clear difference between two. So once you've done that, the light bulb moments come in. And lots of them say, actually, I don't want to sell now. I'm quite happily to remain a shareholder and, get residual income, set direction, make people inspired, or, look into other ways how I can maximize. So with that, you also installed learning and development culture, continuous improvement culture. You really want your business to, your team to operate without you by themselves, self-regenerating. And then, of course, processes, like lean plus mean equals capacity, how we can do more with less. Automation is the key. In UK, the productivity levels are very low compared to the rest of the Europe. And right now, we're facing a economical time, where it's very tough for lots of businesses out there. But those who are looking for those 3 exits will survive. And those who just there are no exits, will die. Which I think is a great opportunity, because, when we talk about coffee shops, those coffee shops will close down, the cafes or whatever, those who just haven't been updated. And those who've got innovation, ideas, can think how to serve customer in a great possible way, will survive, thrive, make lots of money. So, and then we want to document everything, because once you document something, it becomes trainable material. So you can pass it on to someone else, don't do it yourself. And that's when you're truly exit ready. You can do your evaluation. So that's my 7 steps in a nutshell.
That is so insightful, just to hear about it. Because I don't know, again, I feel like we're so focused on running the business that when it comes to actually scale it and understand what the steps are so that we can be in that position, that doesn't mean that we necessarily want to exit, but it means that we can actually, because as soon as I hear the word exit, it means okay, well, you just given up, you had enough, you want to go. Whilst what you've showcased today is more of, the business, you should be running the business shouldn't be running you. And that's been so informative in that way. Thank you.
And be exit ready gives you freedom of choice, freedom of, you want to sell it, you want to scale it, you want to take a breather maybe, it's your choice. It's not necessarily, sell. Or even better, maybe you want to pass on to your children, right? The generation upcoming, that happens a lot as well. So.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much for that.
Excellent. And I guess we asked. There's lots of things that we go to every guest with, Julia. So I was going to ask about where you see your red line coaching going, but before I do that, actually, tell us a little bit about. I heard a little rumor about a little passion you have for dancing. Is that a thing?
Gosh.
Is that a thing? It's a thing. It's a thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah.
A little rumor spreading too fast. I said I am the type of person who likes to develop my weaknesses, set myself big audacious goals, right? I have to follow what I preach. So passion of mine or childhood dream was to become professional dancer, which never unfortunately happened because of my height. I've been told that nobody will be able to see me from the stage.
That's just heartbreaking, isn't it? Sorry, I'm sorry. That is heartbreaking. You can't say things like that. Whoever that was.
You can. You shouldn't, but you can. Yeah, evidently. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of logical, right? I'm 5'2", so yeah, possibly, but nevertheless. So I give up on my dream until I recently came across beautiful ladies practicing ballroom dancing in one of the sports hall. And they said, actually, there is a competition and you can do it at any age. And they gave me second hope. So I thought, ta-da, my childhood dream can be rejuvenated, and I didn't give up on this. So what do I do with that? Of course, I set myself a goal to enter a Blackpool ballroom competition with Rumba or Cha-Cha-Cha, and of course, I want to win. So watch the space.
I'm wondering if you can apply the 7-step process to.
I'm sure.
To exit ready, right?
Exit ready with the first place prize, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
After the prize.
Oh, fantastic! So, what is it about dancing though? Like, why? Like, just is what grips you about it? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's it's coming from a young age. Maybe because I was at home a lot by myself, and I used to watch TV, and there was like ballet, and my parents used to have, I don't know if it was fashionable in UK, they used to have like a section unit, like one of those wooden wall units.
Okay, sure.
And it had mirror in it, so I used to put my leg up and pretend that I'm a ballerina and blah blah blah. So I was practicing a lot, but I think it's the movement of your body to music, to rhythm, gives you that sense of pleasure, the joy, expression of yourself. So that's all really for me. And of course, I can't avoid to say all the dresses and the drama that comes with it, the makeup, the sun, the town, and everything else.
That's fantastic. I love that, and just. So many things to relate to there. Not that I dance, but so
we want to see it.
On certain Saturdays maybe. But the way everything you described there is just about taking yourself to to a different plane, to a different world, to a different to like freaking Narnia, where actually you feel something so visceral about what you're doing or what you're seeing, or the aura around you, and the aura that you can give to other people. And one of the I don't know about you, André, but one of the things that I love about this podcast that we've been doing is finding these sorts of little things out about people, which then just suddenly out of nowhere creates a lot of sense in a different way to everything you've been saying. That passion of where you have come to Red Lion Coaching, you told us about the background here, but also this real fire that you have for this goal that you set yourself for ballroom dancing in Blackpool, all of that. It just ties in so well. Love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How it's a childhood dream, and obviously you've been through so many different hurdles and barriers and things that you've accomplished already, and now to just go back and take that. That's exactly it, isn't it? That's exactly it. Is that?
Do you have a childhood dream that hasn't been accomplished?
Gosh,
I mean, I had the usual kind of boy thing of wanting to be an astronaut at some point.
Yeah.
But I gave everything to wanting to be a musician and being in a band, and I put absolutely everything into that. I loved it. Absolutely freaking loved it. I still have a lot of what I do now. It's scratching that itch to a degree, but now from a different angle, from a different lens, dare I say. But yeah, no. Jamie with the
drop mic.
With the puns. But yeah, so I'm very much wearing my heart on my sleeve with that one. That is a lot of where my passion comes from. When I was on stage, when I was doing my thing, I owned the freaking world, and nobody could touch me doing that. It doesn't matter if I was playing like in front of 2 people or 200 or whatever. That's it. There's something incredibly magical about that, and I just wanted to be in the best band in the world. I wanted to be the best band in the world.
Fantastic. Yeah. I can see now. Like when we spoke earlier, and you shared your passion for photography and specifically performing arts photography. I can see now the links.
Yeah.
Like experiencing that yourself, being on stage and, absorbing the energy, the atmosphere, how it makes you feel. You just really want to translate that through the pictures.
100%. I mean, there's, when people are on that stage, whatever it is they're doing, music, theatre, whatever it might be of a performing arts nature, there is a fire in their eyes every single time, and just the joy of capturing that, but also making the whole composition, everything around it, to make it just so much bigger than it is. I've said this before in a previous podcast that we've talked about, where I want everyone to look at these images and feel like they're playing Wembley Stadium. I want everyone to feel like they're on the biggest stage in the world, because they are building that in their hands. Every time that they step on that stage, they put the microphone to their mouth, they dance, they whatever it might be, that moment is magic, and it transcends everything that we do in that plane in that moment. That just drives my photography massively in that space. The performing arts space is where I love being. I do lots of types of photography, and they have great things about them, which I absolutely love. There's something uniquely amazing about that. And every time we speak to people like yourself, Julia, that's what we're trying to find out about you. Right, so where is your fire and where's your passion? Because you're very, very articulate with what you talk about. You're very, very clear in your vision. You're very, very goal oriented. You've said that multiple times today, and to hear that a lot of parallels come from things that you experienced growing up or dreams that you had that you're now recycling, shall we say, that's something really special that we don't often talk about, or we don't necessarily pay much attention to or have appreciation for. And that's a really special thing and a real privilege to have a platform to do.
And I just want to say that you guys doing an amazing job bring local businesses on a wider platform and allowing people to get to know them on such intimate level, because like this conversation, I won't be able to have it with thousands of people of Horsham or surrounding areas. But now I will, because of you. Yeah. So I really, really appreciate that. And, just keep doing what you're doing. And it's really, truly amazing.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thanks so much. Yeah. There you go. Oh, there you go. Oh, feel great.
Do you want a tissue?
I'm going to cry now. We're going to go to the back room and just have a little cry.
You know that in the back room, André. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh gosh, is it because it's all messy?
It's terrible, mate. It just gets worse.
Every week I walk in, I was like, there's more stuff in it.
Yeah. Is that alive? What? Yeah.
Why is that moving? But I think that's completely part of it. I think we are so focused on growing our business, and I think I just go and repeat myself every single episode, but it's we're so focused on growing our businesses, and when we talk to somebody it's always about, oh, look at what I'm doing, this is my goals, this is what I'm trying to achieve, blah blah blah, blah. That actually we just forget to say, you know what, when I was a kid I wanted to be a dancer and I never got the chance to, and now I've grown my businesses and I'm going to do that. And I feel like that just clicks with people instantly. All of a sudden, you're not just Julia from Red Lion, you are Julia, the one who's pursuing her dreams, regardless of how long it's been, regardless of whatever's been thrown your way, you're just doing it. And I think that's so important to hear.
No pressure now, right? I have to enter everyone that competition. Yeah. By the way, everyone is invited to watch.
Thank you so much for coming on. I think we both speak for both of us when I say I really appreciate what you shared with us today. If people want to learn more about you, if people want to connect with you, because obviously you've got so many things to say and to teach people, where can they find you?
Absolutely. So number one, my website, redlinebusinesscoaching.com. There is a button to book discovery call with me. We can assess how exit ready you are right now. For me, this is a sense of urgency. This is your insurance policy to turn your business into an asset. Whether we're going to end up work together or not, it's another matter. That's not a priority for me, but my priority is to help business owners to get that little bit of thinking, what if? And if I would have, what will happen? So find me on my website, also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to chat to anyone. I'm really accessible, very personable, and there to basically turn your dreams in reality, as I do for myself.
Fantastic. Excellent.
Well, thank you again for coming down and having a chat with us. We won't share the results of how exit ready we are. But we'll work on that.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just exit the door right now, mate. Off you go.
Thank you so much for sharing everything that you shared with us today. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Sam?
Thank you for having me. I truly enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Great.
Sam, we'll catch you in the next one. And as always, if you've watched this episode and enjoyed what you've seen and you think you could come and join us and have a great chat, reach out.
Always here.
Let's go.